Have we waited to see that opening billboard, to see this schedule once again, to be on the air once again? The PBA is back with its 46th season. It's John Sulit alongside Coach Eric Reyes. You see the games today. We have a triple header, and we're just happy to have basketball back, Coach Eric.
Yeah, it's actually something like a dream for me coming in here, Judd, today and seeing all these players. Everyone preparing and just making sure that everything is in place, and so that we can provide the same entertainment to everyone.
It's the opening salvo to this Philippine Cup, and let's take a look at the Alaska Aces. Lots of new faces, Coach Eric, on that lineup, but these are familiar ones as we once again highlight the opening salvo of this conference.
Well, sometimes when you have new blood, and that's a time when a lot of the energy comes in. Yes, it's very true that you still have the old reliables like Jeron Teng. Some of the other guys are already not here anymore, but then the most important thing is how Coach Jeffrey Carriazo prepared them. I've spoken to Coach Jeff, and they had a lot of training. They had their own bubble, and they were preparing in the province, especially coming into this season.
For the longest time, Coach Eric, we've seen Alaska as the very veteran squad. But right now, they're looking much younger than the other side of this battle, which is the Blackwater Bossing, also making, of course, their debut here. These are the players on the roster for Coach Nash Rosella.
Usually, when you talk about Blackwater, you talk about a lot of young players. But then when you look at the roster now, they have a lot more veterans compared to the Alaska team. And this might even be good for them because they've been looking for those leaders, those veterans that can really provide, a steady presence on the court. And now that they have a lot of these new guys, most especially noted Basera Mer, then he would provide a lot of stability into their backcourt.
You see, very familiar names, but also a good mix of young names, guys who are eager to show what they can do. Some rookies there in Andre Paras, you have Raymark Acuno, and Joshua Toralba. And it's going to be exciting, to see all these teams. Aside from the fact that we haven't seen them, all these teams in a long time, but just the new mix of players for each squad. And in the rookies, again, eager to show out. And there's just a lot of stories to follow as we open another season, another conference of the PBA. And you see JV Casio, a long-time vet of Alaska, and he still will be the leader of that squad.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. You still have your old reliables there, but then when you look at the Alaska team, I mean, there's a lot of new faces. I guess in the beginning, Coach Jeff would have a lot of energy, a lot of like that rah-rah college spirit, and you could see the performance of the Alaska team in the previous campaign. Sixth place after the elimination round, but unfortunately they lost to Tinte Tropangiga in the quarterfinals.
That's right, Alaska. It took some time to really get things together in the bubble, but then when they did, they were able to, make that playoff push. And they are hoping that with the revamp that they underwent during the offseason, they'll be able to improve on that performance. Over to the side of Blackwater Bossing, this is a guy we're gonna watch, and we're gonna see how much impact he can make, coming into a new team.
Well, when I heard the news that Basera Mer left the Meralco Bolts team, and he was really one of their top guns there, and going into the Blackwater Bossing team, for me, it's going to be a big advantage for Blackwater. They'll be having a great point guard together with Simon and Ciso, who used to also play for the Alaska Aces back then. I mean, these two guys will definitely be solid in my opinion. And having these two on their backcourt and the experience that they have, for sure, they can really take Blackwater to a next level.
Well, we're seeing here some highlights of Blackwater in the bubble, and this is how they perform.
Well, Blackwater, they've been really struggling most of the time. Every time they have a tournament, they would have a 2-9 record, 10th place. Not really something that they can really be proud of. But I'm definitely more upbeat in their chances in this conference because of the new additions in the team.
We saw Amer, we saw Enciso, like you said, new additions, but this guy has been a mainstay for Blackwater. Nino Canaleta, will have to, he might not be the star of it anymore, but he will take these young guys like Raymar Cacuno under his wing and will try, to provide something that could be of a veteran presence, always important in a team.
Yes, every time there's the veteran, and even if they have less minutes on the court because they have already contributed, Andre Paras is there. I mean, they can always share to these younger guys on how to get things done. Most especially when the going gets tough. So the most important thing is just for them to take the lead, and these younger guys will just follow.
And, speaking of leadership, for Alaska, there's a guy who will have to step into a bigger role for that team. Cheron Teng, they are no longer with Vic Manuel. Chris Banchero departed, last season. And now, what's the role? What needs to be fulfilled by Cheron?
Well, for sure, Jeron will really have to take a lot more responsibility when it comes to scoring. But knowing Coach Jeffrey Carriazo, I mean, he would really want to involve a lot of these new guys as well. So Jeron definitely will be the focal point, most especially coming into a new season. But then I'm sure there will be a lot of surprises here because Jeron definitely needs a lot of help. In the previous conference or in the previous seasons of Alaska, they have a Vic Manuel, they have Banchero to provide those numbers. But then now they would have to look for another person within these new guys to really provide that muscle that Manuel will also contribute, and at the same time Banchero's leadership on the floor.
And for the side of Blackwater, we already mentioned him earlier. Basera Amer. He was a leader with Meralco, and he will be expected to be the same for this team.
I won't be surprised if he can, be the guy who would lift this team up. He has been a winner. He has been a great scorer ever since his high school days. When I was watching his games, then I'm sure Baser this is nothing new to him already, because he was the leader of the Meralco Balls teams, most especially taking care of their plays on the backcourt.
And we're almost set for this battle between the Alaska Aces and the Blackwater Bossing, opening things up for this brand new season.
Good afternoon,
of the
welcome
Philippine
PBA,
Basketball League. This is the
welcome to
2021
the
Honda PBA
46th
Philippine Cup,
season
brought to you by
of
Honda, the official
PBA.
motorcycle of the PBA.
This is our very first game,
And we
and
are
it's time
about
to
to
meet
hear
the
the
starting
starters.
lineups
Something
of
Coach
both
Eric that we've
teams.
also been
First,
longing to
from
hear the
your
voice of this. Our kapatid is Noel
Alaska
Zarate.
Aces. Starting at guard from Parañaque City, number 42, JV Casio. Also at guard from Cebu City, number 1, Robbie Herndon. And forward from New Manila, number 21, Jeron Teng. Also at forward from Sinaloan, Laguna, number 2, Abu Trator. And at center from Tabaco Albay, number 91, Rodney Prondial. Head coach of the Aces is Jeffrey Carriazo. And now let's meet the starting lineup of your Blackwater Bossing. Starting at guard from Cebu, number 0, Simon Enciso. The other guard from Ilocos Norte, number 8, Ed Dakiwag. At forward from Angeles City, number 23, Richard Escoto. Also at forward from Santa Maria, Bulacan, number 33, Kelly Nabo. And at center from Dagupan City, number 12, Marian Magad. Head coach of the Bossing is Nash Rosella. Game officials are Romel Gruta.
These are the starters for both teams. You have JV Casio and Herndon manning the backcourt for Alaska, Prondial, Trator, and Teng. For Blackwater, Enciso, Dakiwag, Magat, Escoto, and Nabong. No Amer yet, Coach Eric, for the starting unit of Blackwater. As you can see, the first tip-off of the 46th season of the PBA. We are underway. This is the 2021 Honda PBA Philippine Cup, brought to you by Honda, the official motorcycle of the PBA. CISO. Magat, who also used to play for Alaska, both of those guys finding themselves against their former team.
There will be a lot of familiarity for sure, Jut, most especially when you're playing your former team, because sometimes you really want to prove yourself that you definitely they made the wrong move in trading you or giving you away.
Well, what do you think of the moves that both these teams made, Coach Eric, in the offseason?
Well, there really be a big gap in the Alaska team having Vic Manuel out and of course Banchero. There will definitely be missed. But then in any team, whenever you have a build-up, you will always have new blood. You will always have new energy, and that's what it counts the most. And that's when you develop a lot of new players and for sure superstars of the league.
Well, how about the time that these guys were not able to step on the court? I know they've played basketball their entire lives, and it's not something you just forget over a span of a few months. But still, it's the familiarity with the schedule and how it changed over the last few months.
The workouts of these players were definitely limited because you cannot go on 5-on-5 training for a past couple of months, especially with what was going on. But then they will definitely have to be just more creative, and I've seen a lot of them do individual skills. Their team trainers were very active in their Zoom, training. So that's something that they can maintain. But then the fluidity, the chemistry, even if you've been together for quite some time, there will be some struggles in the early goings of any tournament because can you imagine back then when there was no pandemic, everyone was just like preparing and yet at the start of the season, there's some sluggishness coming from the off season, and then now can you imagine it's going to be sluggishness plus a lot of the limitations when it comes to their training. So we might see some rustiness in both teams, but then these are professionals, they know what to do, and they are definitely going to perform at a very high level.
I agree with you 100%. There will be some time that they'll need to shake that rust off, and that's probably what we're seeing right now with both teams still scoreless, closing in on 2 minutes played. But believe Coach and Eric and I that when these teams find the rhythm, they will be ready to go. Nabong is able to get himself at the free throw line. Now, this is always something coaches and experts say. The free throw line is where you truly get your rhythm in basketball.
Yeah, we can say what happened to Kelly's shot. Kelly's shot was short, and we already know that when Kelly Nabong was with San Miguel, he definitely was contributing a lot when he was shooting well from the outside. Now that he has a new role here, being the lead center, I would say that he would definitely have to show more about how he could really shoot well from the outside, just like what he did before.
Hey, a rookie enters the game for Alaska in Ben Adamos. Should be exciting as well to see, how much the rookies make an impact early in their time in the league. But for now, here's Teng. 1-0 is the lead for Blackwater. Teng makes the first field goal of the conference of the season, and he puts Alaska up by 2.
But the biggest advantage with these teams, John, is their familiarity already, especially with the veterans. And when they were doing their own bubble, preparing for this tournament, I would say that that's the time when they would really be sharpening up their skills. That they were not really able to work on the previous months in this year.
And Coach, no matter how much individual training, how much conditioning you do on your own, when you step on that court, you have to be aware of where all of your 4 teammates are and how they will move. And perhaps it's that as well that these teams missed in their trainings, especially with a lot of movement over the offseason.
Yes, there's definitely going to be a lot of adjustment, and the elimination round would only give you a single round robin in this elimination round. So there's not really much time for you to be able to adjust. You have to adjust quickly on the fly so that at least you can get more wins and qualify for the next round.
Well, Herndon is the second guy who gets a field goal here. Blackwater, as a team, still looking for their first make from the field. And Ciso will try again. His three-pointer is good.
These guys definitely have been preparing well, and no matter even if they don't have team practices, they will continuously work on their skills. All it takes is just to get to a basketball court, whether it's cemented or whatever sandlot court you have, and these guys will still take competition to the next level.
Remember when Simon and Ciso was with Alaska Coach Eric? That's the same thing. Those are the same shots that he would take and hurt opponents. But Robbie Herndon says, it's my turn to do this for the Aces.
Well, Robbie Herndon, of course, this is definitely going to be his second season already for the Aces, if not mistaken. Yeah, and then he already has been showing a lot of help for Coach Jeff. We all know that he came from the Magnolia team way back.
He was a champion there.
He was a champion there. He would also show what kind of skills he has over there. But then, once you give him more minutes, then he could definitely shine.
Herndon now with 5 points. Adamos couldn't handle the basketball, so it will go back to Blackwater. Now here is Amer, the guy we've been raving about just because he was spectacular with Meralco. Look at that team connection. The down screen and the pass, that play was worked perfectly by the Aces.
Jat, I always feel that these guys, shooting-wise, will never have a problem because that's the only thing you can do when you're all alone in the basketball court. So shooting-wise, they will definitely improve on the shooting, but maybe the rustiness would come, for example, when they're trying to run their plays or their defensive sets, and at the same time, that limited amount of training and conditioning, maybe in the home stretch when the game is on the line, in the last 2 minutes of the game, this is where maybe we'll see a lot of screw-ups.
And Ciso will try again. This is a tough one. Well contested by Casio. Perhaps, familiarity there as they had to battle each other in practice every day. Score. Big block by the Kiwag. Forward to Amir. And that's lost by Baser. Ball will go back to Alaska, but not before a timeout, or is it just a substitution? Looks like a timeout is requested here by the Aces. Early in this game, both teams still finding their rhythm. 7 apiece for Alaska and Blackwater.
You're watching the 2021 PBA Philippine Cup, and for the past 3 months, the PBA teams have been doing a closed circuit trainings, meaning their movement is limited from their homes to the practice venues. And majority of the teams out of town yung kanilang mga practice venue. So isa sa challenging part daw, sabi ng mga players, yung pagod. Doble yung kanilang pagod because they have to drive all the way after training so hard. Allowed naman daw yung karamihan sa kanila to have a driver, pero kailangan vaccinated din. For both Blackwater and Alaska, they have to drive all the way to Batangas. But really, the most challenging part of the preparation, according to both Coach Nash Rosella and Coach Jeff Carriazo, is yung fact na walang scrimmages, walang tune-up games to prepare. So it's really difficult to assess yung development ng kanilang kupunan. Lalo na, parehong kupunan na to, they have a lot of new and young players in their roster. So ngayon pa lang talaga magkakaalaman sa actual games. Gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Apple. That's what we were saying. You were talking about it, Coach Eric. You can train individually, even as a team. If it's shooting, if it's, running through the motion. But then, as a coach, you always want to simulate the action in games.
Yes, I'll share this with you. If I want to make a comeback, John, and it's just shooting and all the dribbling skills, I can easily do that at my age. Because you can work on it on a daily basis, even in the comforts of your bedroom. But then when you talk about 5-on-5, and that's what happened to Coach Jeff, when you talk about running up and down the court, you will not get used to practicing in your bedroom if you need to get them in shape and ready for game-like situations on a whole basketball court. And I guess that's where a lot of these teams will really have some difficulty in the beginning of the tournament.
Let me just say, I'm all for you making a comeback. As Alaska able to get the lead once again, courtesy of the rookie, Ben Adamo scoring his first 2 points in the league.
But hey, Ben Adamo is definitely showing some range in the perimeter, and that's definitely going to be key in this tournament.
A product of Perpetual Health. He also played for San Beda before moving down to Las Piñas. Adamo working hard underneath, and he is fouled. He'll find himself at the free throw line once again.
Yeah, I feel that Kelly Nabong would definitely have, his advantage at this point, most especially against Adamos, because he's bigger, he has the experience. Of course, Brondial will be there, but then Kelly's size will definitely be a big advantage for the Blackwater bossing, as Ben Adamo showing us some nice perimeter game.
Coach Eric, before the game started, the PBA had a little opening ceremony earlier, and it was nice. I felt like it's also something that these players, the teams needed. Granted that, of course, everyone was tested. The PBA made sure that it was gonna be a safe event. It was nothing huge, but it just brings that sense of normalcy. Once again, we've been mentioning it, and we mentioned it a lot when we covered the bubble. But just to give these guys, the normal routine that they used to go through when they open the season, when they go to games, it means a lot, those little things.
Well, for me, it gives us a lot of hope, John. The most important thing is for us to be able to hopefully get back to the life that we were used to. And seeing the PBA once again, gives a lot of people hope that, one day we would be able to enjoy everything, all the fans back in their seats. And, so many things are happening around us, and hopefully all these things, all these little things will definitely contribute to bringing life to normalcy again.
Alaska going small right now with Ahanmisi, Casio, and Di Gregorio in the backcourt. Here's Amer looking for his first points as a Blackwater bossing. Nabong will fire from outside, no good. And the guy who got a rebound is the guy making a comeback in the PBA. That's Yusef Taha. Here he is. Looking for options. And hand it off back to Ahanmisi. The double team is there with Semiran. Di Gregorio, he loves that shot, and he shows you why.
That's going to make Coach Jeffrey Carriazo happy with the way his players really moved the ball around and got that open shot. And definitely, that those extra shooting and extra work by these players, you're seeing a lot of, from Di Gregorio to Enciso, or shooting the lights out early here in Inares.
Enciso already has a couple of three-pointers here in this game. And if you see these players, just putting up the shots, and even if they miss, you know that it's also an effort to try to get back that rhythm.
Yes. The minutes that, or the few minutes that you get on the floor, getting that feel, if you get the basket going, everything just starts to flow all over again, most especially when you feel that sweat going through your body.
6 seconds on the shot clock. Ahanmisi, guarded by Enciso. Taha has to put it up. Does he know? No, he doesn't, and Alaska gets whistled for a shot clock violation.
Well, it definitely will not look good on Yusef Taha, because he got the ball at the 15-foot line with his back to the basket. There's really nothing much he can do compared to when he gets it from the post, where he has good moves over there.
Denison is already checked into the game. Amer will fire away. Baser, that doesn't go in. Another guy making a comeback in the PBA. Banal with the basketball. Adamos to Taha, absorbs the bump and uses the glass for the deuce.
See, when you use Taha in a situation, cutting to the basket and getting that deuce, it's very easy. It's a lot easier for him than getting a ball on the post, on the top of the key.
For Adamos, coach, he had a mid-range jumper earlier, and then he shows an ability to make that extra basket. as Canaleta hits a 3. Your thoughts early on this rookie?
Well, he's really showing an all-around presence on the court, and definitely that's what Alaska needs, most especially when Vic Manuel is not there. He's definitely going to be filling in the Vic Manuel role.
Good defense there for Blackwater. Enciso not hit that. There's a loose ball foul with 3 minutes remaining in the first quarter. It's going to be on David Semerad. Take a look at this one more time. It's just Nino Canaleta doing Nino Canaleta things. We know of his hops, but he can also hit it from outside.
You know, there's a lot of pick and flare movement now. Before it used to be a pick and roll usually. The three-point shot really has been an easier shot compared for all these players because they have really mastered that shot a lot.
And it's just how the game has evolved to what it is nowadays. Hanicio far away, no good. Delison will give chase.
The game has definitely evolved, Jat. Also, a lot of the players are now shooting more from the outside.
And we have a timeout on the floor. It's still a close one here in the first quarter. Alaska up by 1. We are in the 46th season of the PBA. It's the very first game of the season and of the conference. Game being held at the Inares Sports Arena. This is the opening salvo, and we're already seeing, Coach Eric, these two teams just trying to get back that rhythm as we have been harping on all of this first quarter. But is it something that you already expected?
Yes, yeah, I was expecting that, in the early goings of this tournament, maybe in the first 2 weeks, you would see, teams not really able to get to that level where they want to be. But then, in every season, especially in the start, there will be some teams that can really start out well off the gates. But there will be some teams that will struggle. But once they get their game to go, and that's the time where it really counts the most and get them hopefully into the next round.
So that is the goal for these two teams, especially I would believe for Blackwater. I mean, it is the reason why they made all those moves in the offseason to improve on the 2-9 record that they had in the bubble. Semerad lost control as he tried to maneuver around Taha. There's a foul. It's going to be on Tolomia.
Even Tolomia came from the Meralco Bulls. So now both of them are together again with Basera Mir.
That's right. And remember, Dakiwag was the guy who was traded for Tolomia in that exchange between Rain or Shine and Meralco when they were early in the league. And all of them, including Amer, were part of that Gilas draft. And now they all unite here in Blackwater. Of course, Blackwater had to give up Mac Belo, another vital piece of their team.
Well, Blackwater have given up a lot of their great players. Of course, Poyeram was really one of them, and we could always talk about Blackwater being at least in the in dead last in the team standings. But then they would always also have some years when they would really perform well.
Player shuffles here for Blackwater. Desiderio and Magat come in. Di Gregorio will set things up for Alaska. It is a slow scoring opening period. Again, these teams came from months of no basketball, or at least just individual. Taha Able to get his second basket of the game. He's got 4 points.
And that's where he's definitely good at moving well without that ball, getting the ball to Taha in the right place at the right time. He can definitely put in the numbers.
Magat, the handoff to Tolomia. The ball fake for Tolomia. Beautiful move, but couldn't finish it. And there is a lot of contact on that rebound play. Taha falls to the ground. A foul there whistled on Blackwater. It's going to be the second on Tolomia. Watch the games live on PBA Rush via Signal Play, free until August 15. Games also available on demand for free. Register on signalplay.com and download the app. Closing in on a minute left here in the first quarter. Handoff action there for Alaska. They are able to find multiple opportunities for Taha underneath.
You know, that pick and roll has really been working wonders for Alaska, or pick and player for Blackwater. You know, those are the simple plays that teams can definitely start off in every tournament. And these two teams so far are showing some good plays coming off those, you know, screen and rolls.
Yusef Taha, a product of Mapua, has played for multiple PBA teams. He was with Magnolia once. He was with Global Port back then, and then even had a stint with Ginebra. And he was out of the league for a while, went back to the States. And you know, sometimes you try to step away, but basketball just finds a way to pull you back, Coach.
Yes, you know, all these players and even us, Judd, we love the game so much that every time there is an opportunity to either play the game or cover the game, it's really very hard to say no. You know that those basketball juices in you would definitely want to get you back wherever you are and get you back in this game.
Banal has it with 10 seconds on the shot clock, trying to break Desiderio down. Now to Taha. Yusef, too strong off the glass, although he had a pretty good look there. This is what Amer can really bring to Blackwater. He's a steadying presence, just as he was for Meralco. Just couldn't get that lefty layup. A second left, the Gregorio from half court, and that will not go. That is the end of the first quarter. And it was Simon Enciso who lit it up with 9 points, 3 3-pointers, but still, you know, despite that, Blackwater getting production from a lot of guys. 3 out of 6 is Enciso in just 9 minutes. Back to what he used to do.
Yeah, he's been very productive, most especially shooting that 3. He's been 50% field goal shooter, and definitely Alaska would have to, you know, put the clamps on this guy because you don't want Enciso to get hot.
But at the end of the first quarter, despite those 9 points, it's still Alaska up by 1. You're watching the 2021 Honda PBA Philippine Cup on PBA Rush, where the Alaska Aces are aiming high. Despite some key departures, they welcome very good players into their team as well.
Yeah, you have Taylor Brown, Ben Adamos, who have really been showing very well in the first quarter, and of course RK Ilagan, another guard. So all these guys definitely would, you know, they're just waiting for that opportunity that Coach Jeff would use them. And I'm pretty sure that they have something to show us. That's the reason why Coach Jeff and the Alaska Ball Club got them for the roster in exchange for those great players.
And you know, RK Ilaga and Taylor Brown, both guards. RK, a product of San Sebastian, and Taylor Brown coming from Canada. But you look at the track record of Alaska, coach, how many guards in the history of the Aces franchise have they drafted and made great players out of? You just take a look at this game. There's Simon Enciso, who has been able to make a name for himself, not drafted by Alaska, but he was given that opportunity there.
Yes, I mean Alaska has really been there ever since this league, and they've won so many championships back then. Coach Jeffrey Cargas has been part of that, so he definitely knows a lot of these on player development, and at the same time how these players can really excel and be much give a lot of interest from other ball clubs.
The only thing is that Alaska is, they have a lot of guards in their roster right now. And that doesn't take away the possibility of those rookies earning some minutes. Is it all about how you do in practice and what you show your coach?
Definitely. Most especially if you're a rookie, coaches would unless you're a prized rookie, a very talented rookie, then definitely like a Kiefer Avena coming into NLEX. Usually these guys and Publico's coming onto the court, you will definitely get the minutes slowly because of the experience, because you have the veterans in your roster. But then the coaches always find ways on how to develop these guys. Now, if since we're talking about a lot of these rookies are guards, and Alaska has of course Jerome Teng and even JV Gasho, then definitely they're going to be so tight in that position that playing minutes might be a problem. But then, and of course you have Mike De Gregorio as well. But then you just have to be ready, because in any tournament the guys have to play limited minutes because of any hopefully no injuries. You just have to really be ready once you get your chance to play on the court.
Gabanal hitting a three right there. Another key addition to this Aces squad. Amer, he just hit his first shot a while ago, but didn't follow up on it. Got with the offensive board, and he is fouled.
Oh, Baser is still not getting, the numbers that he usually gets, because he can really score easily.
I remember when he led Meralco to the finals, and even in the finals against Ginebra of the Governor's Cup years back, he was really leading the offensive charge of the team.
Yes, he definitely is a scoring guard. He can also be the one to create for the team. He's definitely a threat on the floor. But right now, it's still Enciso who's really doing a good job for Blackwater. And maybe later on, once this guy Amir can get his game going.
Here's Amir trying it out once again. Couldn't get it. Marcelino will not be able to save that. So Blackwater will have another crack at it.
It would be definitely difficult for Amer to really score, because right now he's only going 1-on-1. Maybe he needs to to try to look for other scoring opportunities, or maybe play decoy for now, and you see Coach Nash putting him on the bench for a while just to at least cool him down. Medyo nanggigigil pa dyan in the early goings of the game.
Enciso with his fourth three-pointer of the game. He's got 12.
Wow, 12 of the 19 points of Blackwater coming in from Simon Enciso. He really has been shooting the ball well here in the first half.
And he's the only guy who has really shown that he hasn't lost a step over the break, because as a team right now, Blackwater is shooting 7 for 27. Enciso, on the other hand, is 4 for 7. Look at that hang time move from Desiderio. You talked about Amer being a scoring guard. That guy is as well, Desiderio.
Oh, most especially, Paul Desiderio from the college days. We already know the numbers he can produce. He definitely is a good scorer also. But you see a lot. I like the way Blackwater is playing. There's a lot of drop passes, getting a lot of easy shots compared to what's going on the other end of the floor.
Enciso has been finding his mark, but look at Tolomia leaving it up for Desiderio. who takes his time mid-air, able to score over Tratter.
Can you imagine what's happening? You have a Mayor there who can create and score himself. Ilom is also there. So far the guards of Blackwater are the ones who are doing a lot of damage against Alaska. But Alaska's not really doing so bad because they're only down by 1 point.
That's right. You can watch the games live on PBA Rush via Signal Play, free until August 15. The games are also available on demand for free. Just register on signalplay.com and download the app. Blackwater is still up by 1, with large thanks to Simon and Ciso has scored more than half of the team's output. Tolomia, no good. Ball bounces out of bounds and it will go Alaska's way. For Alaska, it's really been a balanced attack. I mean, only 6 players have scored for them. No one above 5. It's already Herndon leading everyone on the Aces side. Rodial couldn't contribute that time. Herndon once again. They reset their offense. Herndon puts it up, hits nothing, and Ciso on the run, on the loose, and he will finish for the Deuce.
And Ciso already has 14 markers and definitely being the top gun for Blackwater.
And thanks to his production, Blackwater is able to come back from an early deficit, and they go up by 3 points. A breakaway layup, nothing Barcelino could do to stop that one.
He's been getting a lot of easy shots because he's been really working hard and trying to get free in this game.
PBA. Alam niyo, every time na mate-trade itong si Simon and Ciso, he just tries to see the best in the situation. New opportunity, new journey to prove himself. Pero dito daw sa Blackwater, feeling niya this can be his home for the long run. Pero medyo ironic lang daw yung experience kasi usually pag nade-trade siya sa ibang kupunan, siya yung new guy. Siya yung talagang naglo-look up sa ibang players, maraming veterano. Pero dito, isa siya sa mga tinuturing na veterano and sa kanya, na-enjoy niya yung experience, sharing his knowledge. And the players, the younger players are actually listening to him, looking up to him. And so, feeling niya he has bigger responsibilities and he's so ready to take on that challenge and prove himself that talaga naman he deserves to be in a roster be a main guy for a team like Blackwater. Gentlemen.
Thank you, Apple. You know, Coach Eric, just to add on to what Apple reported at Greece. When Simon and Ciso was first traded in the PBA, remember he was drafted by Phoenix, traded to Alaska. He kind of took it the hard way, but then, you know, he was reminded by his coach, but that you can look at it in two ways. You can look at it that, okay, this team maybe doesn't want or doesn't need me, but then you can also look at it that this other team I'm going to wanted me enough to give up a player for me, and that was what boosted his confidence.
Sometimes it's really these opportunities that make players great, and we've seen it many times from here and overseas. And when players get traded, sometimes that's when they get to really play or be at their best because they know that it's either they work harder in their game, that's why they're being given away, or you know, they are going to be given more minutes and more opportunities in that team, and that's where Enciso was really able to develop once he was given away to under 13.
Well, Enciso has 16 points, but Blackwater comes up empty in that possession. Marcelino speeding ahead. No go, but on the putback, Robbie Herndon. 7 points and 3 boards for Herndon. He is leading the charge of Alaska. And that time it was Geronte getting his points. This was the hustle of Robbie.
See, that's what happens usually when someone is able to drive in the lane. If you are not in a good position to clear that rebound, you know, guys like Herndon and definitely even Tratter would get those rebounds and putbacks.
Whistled on Nino Canaleta. He was caught grabbing on the jersey or the side of Abu Tratter. David Semerad checking back in for Coach Nash Racela. 14 seconds on the shot clock. Alaska has reclaimed the lead thanks to back-to-back baskets. But that has been the story of this game, Coach Eric. Neither team has been able to really pull away.
That's really part of it, John. I mean, the early struggles of every team in the early part of the tournament will definitely happen now. And now you see a lot of these teams, since they're professional teams, it's easier for them to adjust midway. And you will see a lot of improvement as the days go on with these ball games.
That's a foul on Semerad. Abu Tratter on your screens also trying to make a bigger impact in this Alaska team as he progresses in the league. They go down low to Tratter. Abu. Stopped by Semerad. Brondial on the offensive board. Ball is loose, picked up by Tolomia. Tolomia will set up the table. Trying to break down Marcelino. Beautiful ball fake, but too strong on the shot. Dakiwag will fire away, and Dakiwag will hit the three.
Yeah, those extra possessions definitely count a lot, especially when you're struggling in the game. And then now Blackwater really shooting very well from the three-point range.
0 for 3 to start the game was Ed Dakiwag, but finally getting one to fall down. Alaska. With the possessions of Alaska, it seems like they're taking their time to a point that when they attack, shot clock is down, but Marcelino says, not a problem.
But there's always, or there's some breakdown in their offense, Judd, and sometimes it causes a lot of delay in their setup. But, you know, the good thing about this Alaska team, even if things don't go well, they have a lot of those guys who definitely can be turned garbage into gold.
It's JC Marcelino getting the 2 points. Another collegiate standout coming from LPU in his second season now in the PBA. Nabong thought about the three. Decides to put it on the floor. Would have been a great move if he only finished that. Marcelino. Good ball movement for Alaska. Nabong hit the arm of Tratter. He will send the boot to the line.
Okay, Nabong is trying to complain to the ref. He just has to control his emotions. He's a great player, but once his emotions get the better of him, then that's a time when his game starts to dip.
Nabong has also made his rounds with teams in the league, but he has been a contributor with pretty much every stop he has made. Watch the games live on PBA Rush via Signal Play, free until August 15th. Games also available on demand for free. Register on signalplay.com and download the app. You'll be able to watch games like this, a close one, a good one between Alaska and Blackwater, as Tratter's free throws just give the Aces a 1-point lead. Enciso.
He missed that
Perhaps
point
too
blank.
free. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to, Simon has to move back to the three-point line because he makes them a lot better than that layup.
His flick is calibrated
For
for
the
the long
3-point
range.
line.
Oh, look at that! A banker of a three.
Did he call it?
I think at this point, Jeron will say it doesn't matter.
He's smiling there. I don't think he called it.
As long as it counts and it gives Alaska a bit more breathing room. Jeron thinks straight away the bank open on a Friday. Back inside the Inata Sports Arena where all of the games of the 2021 Honda PBA Philippine Cup will be played. Now we're not in a bubble anymore, Coach Eric. It's a closed circuit or closed environment. Let's talk about Blackwater and how they are trying to build a contender out of that team.
But look at the key departures from Macbelo to Troviano. Those are great players and doing well in the other teams. But look at the new additions. You have veterans in Enciso, of course, the rookie na Andre Paras. Semerado's also a veteran, but Basera Mayer, of course. All these guys, Kelly Nabong, all these guys have been veterans and proven winners already in the other teams that they come from. So definitely they can help out this Blackwater team really rise up and be a contender in the league.
You know, it feels like a complete revamp with the number of names that you saw there, both departing and being added to that squad. So far, so good. I mean, they are down, but only by 2 points after that Takiwag basket.
You know, Blackwater, they were an expansion team and they had a lot of good players. They've also already traded a lot of these good players also, and they have been developing a lot of those players. Why? Because they are getting the opportunities that those players will not be able to get in other teams. Now you have a Poy Eram who really has blossomed, and now he's in a different team now than Blackwater. So you know, players really come and go, and maybe these new guys coming into Blackwater will definitely be able to shine and get that recognition that they deserve.
And Simon Enciso wants to be that guy. 19 points already, 5 3-pointers. And he is...
More than half of the team output.
absolutely. And for both teams, I would say, Coach Eric, for both Alaska and Blackwater in this game, Simon Enciso is the only guy who's looked very, very comfortable in his return after a long hiatus.
Yeah, it seems that he really put in a lot of work, and he's really trying to reap or get those benefits from all the number of hours that he had. Most especially that the limited 5-on-5 exposures that all these players would be having.
Well, that last shot was a heat check. Bronjal, last touch, and ball will go back to Blackwater. You know, despite the 19 points of Enciso, Blackwater is still down by 1. And he can probably point that to the field goal percentage that they are shooting as a team. Only 33%. And it was mainly because of their struggles early in the game.
Well, the Blackwater definitely with Enciso scoring a lot really looks good. But you know what teams or coaches don't want to see is only one player exploding with even 40 points and the others don't really contribute even in other departments, and that's not going to be good because even a Mayor who's supposed to be scoring really cannot get his game to go at this point.
Amer is only 1 for 8 from the field, 0 for 4 from downtown. But for these players, again, I think even the guys watching right now, everyone understands that there will be some sort of trying to get back, not just in game shape, but game timing and game feel. And so the more you rush that's a process, Coach Eric, right? That the more you rush, the more it falls apart.
Yeah, it really takes time, and the most important thing is that they stay healthy because this is a single round elimination round, so it's going to be quite tough if you are going to wait for more games to come and get more games to go. It might be too late by the time you start heating up, so you really want to start this out very well. But then there's just so many factors, all these players are getting subjected to, and it's really not that easy to just get your game to go. And we've seen it with Baser, maybe in the second half or maybe in the next game.
Hey, Taylor Brown has checked into the game. The Phil Canadian, 6'2". Tasked to guard Amer right now. And Baser not aware of how much time was left. Shot clock violation for Blackwater.
Well, everyone is expecting Baser to really go off any time. But then if you were Alaska, you will make sure that Baser does not take off, because it will be a big mistake if Baser starts to shine.
You know what? Sometimes the shot might be rusty, but the passing, the ball movement, it's something that can stay. Look at JV Casio set up Rondial.
And that's a veteran move right there. We haven't really seen JV shoot from the outside much, but that's another good play there that Blackwater is doing.
Good seal for Semerad, able to get in position down low.
Even if you're struggling from the outside, you definitely want to be more creative, and you see that good defensive stop there by Blackwater got blocked in Orton. So you really want to see a lot of these guys go on and set up their teammates. And especially if you have a veteran point guard in JV Casio, he makes his teammates look good all the time as long as you move well without that ball.
Back-to-back assists. Look at that, just drawing the defense. The basketball IQ of JV Casio has been put on display in the PBA for so many years.
And when you look at the assist story here, John, it really will make a difference. Blackwater is shooting the ball very well, but those are all individual efforts. Alaska is really moving the ball around.
12 assists for Alaska already. 8 for Blackwater. But the thing about that assist count is that a lot of the threes of Simon and Sisu were coming up one-on-one plays.
True, yeah,
But
that's
I mean,
a good point.
it's not a matter of him hogging the ball, because the threes have been falling. Where do you go? To the hot hand.
The only challenge there is, the three-point shot is a low percentage shot compared to what we see with Alaska. Alaska's really been getting a lot of those two-point shots easily off layups. And definitely, if Blackwater can continue that hot streak by Simon and Siso and just feed them that ball, for sure they will have a good chance. But Alaska is a very dangerous team, because once they get going and they just put the clamps on Simon and Siso, then maybe they can already get at least a good sized lead coming into the second half.
Watch the games live on PBA Rush via Signal Play, free until August 15th. Games also available on demand for free. Register on signalplay.com and download the app. Blackwater trying to make a good run to end the second quarter. We are in the final 42 seconds of it. That's Casio calling the shots for Alaska. Rondial against Semerad. Adamos thought about it. Now it's Brown. Two rookies trying to come up with something here. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Adamos looking for space. Hits the front of the rim but falls out. And Siso will likely settle down and get Blackwater their final shot of the first half. Lakiwag getting to the cup, too strong. Magat the offensive board and was fouled. So he'll take a trip to the line.
Well, Adamas is really getting his baptism of fire here, and he will definitely learn from a lot of mistakes. Marlon Magat, another of those ex-Alaska players.
Magat, former Alaska ace. Gets his
Former
first.
NLEX. He also played for
yeah,
NLEX
that's
as
right.
well.
Lomia will take a seat. Desiderio comes in. And here's a chance for Blackwater to take the lead. Unable to do so. Rondial, full court heave. Adamos Almost got it, but we will end the first half knotted up at 39. It has been that kind of a game for the first 24 minutes.
Well, a good thing here, Alaska was able to find at least or keep the game close, because Simon Enciso, on the other hand, with Blackwater, has really been shooting the lights out here in Inares Pasig.
19 points for Enciso. As for Alaska, balance attack, but it's Teng and Herndon leading the way with 7 points each. The PBA is back, and we are enjoying every minute of this battle between Alaska and Blackwater, tied at 39 at the end of the first half.
Patuloy ang inyong panonood sa PBA Season of 46. And for our first game, it's Alaska versus Blackwater. And after 2 quarters, 39-all ang ating score. Bago tayo magpatuloy, magbalik tanaw muna tayo sa mga naging kaganapan right after the PBA bubble. Panoorin natin ito.
6 months, 31 weeks, 219 days. Waiting for the return of the PBA seems like an eternity for many basketball fans. But this year's off-season was not like any other. Trades, team overhaul, Gilas Pilipinas, you name it. All of it served as a hype machine for the upcoming PBA season. Bago muna ang lahat, balikan natin ang mga pangyayari sa nakaraang 6 na buwan. How did we end up here? When the 45th season of the PBA came to a close, so did the careers of some of our childhood idols. Kabilang narito si Cyrus Baguio, who announced his retirement in January after playing 17 seasons in the PBA. Not long after, Ronald Tubid also called it quits and eventually joined the Terra Firma Jeeps coaching staff. Bukod sa kanila, inanunsyo rin nina Harvey Carey, JC Intal, at JR Reyes ang kanilang pagre-retiro matapos ang higit sa 1 dekada sa PBA. Pero ang isa sa pinaka-nakakagulat sa lahat ay ang pagre-retiro ni Mark Pingres. Kung may umalis, mayroon ding nagbalik. In February, TNT announced the return of Coach Chot Reyes following the departure of Mark Dickel. Under Reyes' wings, TNT won 4 championships from 2009 to 2012. Meanwhile, Raynor Shine named Chris Gavina as their new chief tactician, replacing Kaloy Garcia. Trade here, trade there, trade everywhere. Trading is the norm for PBA teams during the off-season. Pero kung ikukumpara sa nakaraang taon, this trading off-season has been full of bombs. One of the biggest names was CJ Perez. Terra Firma Jeep sent their star to the already star-studded San Miguel Beermen. Pero hindi lang si Baby Beast ang napunta sa SMC team, pati na rin si The Beast himself. Calvin Abueva was traded by the Phoenix Super LPG Fuel Masters in exchange for Magnolia's Chris Banchero and draft picks. Days after that, Vic Manuel finally said goodbye to Alaska, his home for the past 6 years. The Aces traded him in exchange for draft picks and Brian Eruela. Meanwhile, Mac Belo found a new home with the Meralco Bolts. Si Baser Amer naman ang napunta sa Blackwater Bossing. In March, all the rumors surrounding Christian Stan Hardinger finally came to an end. He is now with a crowd favorite Barangay Ginebra in exchange for Greg Slaughter, who is expected to be the centerpiece for Northport Batang Pier. The official activity of the league this season was the PBA Rookie Draft.
Terra Firma Jeep picks Jordan Headings.
Terra Firma Jeep selected Jordan Heading as the top pick of the special Gilas Pilipinas draft. Then, in the regular draft, the Jeep selected Joshua Munson as the number 1 overall selection. The PBA is looking at a two-conference season this year. Unlike in 2020, this will be a semi-bubble, close-contact setup. Plano ng liga na buksan ng season noong Abril. Yun nga lang, muling tumaas ang kaso ng COVID-19 sa bansa, dahilan para i-postpone ang opening. Thus, the PBA had to wait again. Mabuti na lang, nagawang puna ng Gilas Pilipinas ang gutom ng Pinoy fans sa basketball. Itanong mo na lang kay SJ Belangher.
Belangher! We're going to PBA Cup! Here's a replay. Belangher pumping. Did he step out of bounds? I don't think so. Did he get it off in time? Oh, baby! He did, I think! He got it off! Salamat Belangher!
Just this month, the PBA finally got the green light from IATF to push through with its opening.
Maraming salamat. Salamat po. Kahit pa ulit-ulit ako, maraming salamat sa dasal nyo. Pakisalamatan din yung mga tumulong sa atin. Sana magdire-diretso na tayo. Pasensya na muna kayo. Ang pag-uusapan lang muna natin ay opening. Yung ibang issue, pangako po, magpe-press ko ulit kami. So maraming salamat. Mabuhay kayo. Sana makita ko na agad kayo. Salamat.
It has been a roller coaster ride for the PBA in the past 6 months. But time and time again, the league stands strong, just like Filipinos. Magmintis man, patuloy na lalaban sa hamon ng buhay.
We've reached the fold in this very first game of the 2021 Honda PBA Philippine Cup, and we're tied up at 39. Alaska and Blackwater. Lots of impressive performances as well in that first half. Coach Eric Reyes joining me here. My name is John Sulit, and let's take a look at the numbers, Coach Eric.
But here, the stats usually that really come to play. The three-point shooting of Simon and Ciso was definitely big. Of course, Alaska is really keeping in step with the Bossings because of their all-around game and getting everybody involved with the assist. Of course, the turnovers, Alaska has more points in the paint and second chance points, and these are the two factors that definitely will help both of these teams, because when you struggle in the early part of the game, most especially this is the first game, you really want to get those hustle points, those turning garbage into goal. Those are the things that will definitely keep you and help you win in this game.
Well, in that first half, despite Alaska having the lead for the most part of it, the story was Simon Enciso's 19 points on 5 3-pointers, Coach Eric, and it's actually his highest scoring half since 2018, and that info, of course, provided by Mr. Fidel Mangonon, head statistician of the PBA. Enciso's career high is 30 points. He's just 10 points away from that with 24 minutes to play.
Yes, can you imagine? You light it up in the first half alone, you're already scoring 20 points in the game. So that in itself is already a big achievement for Simon Enciso. Now he just has to sustain to help this Blackwater team win in the second half.
1 point lead now for Alaska, as Tratter can only make one of those 2 free throws. What adjustments do you want to see from both squads?
Well, right now with Alaska, they can definitely continue that assist, because they won that assist in the first half, and that's what kept them well in this game. On the other hand, if you have Enciso really lighting it up, or if ever he does fail to continue his hot streak in the second half, you really want all these guys to really make sure that they fight for those offensive rebounds. Definitely those shots will miss, and if those are 3-point shots, then they have to be ready to collar those rebounds from the outside.
Well, Alaska did control the boards back in the first half, 31 boards for them. Banal, he hit one earlier, couldn't get that one to fall down, and it's Taha caught in a bad position, called for a foul. Watch the games live on PBA Rush via Signal Play, free until August 15. Games also available on demand for free. Register on signalplay.com and download the app. No field goals yet here in the third quarter. And if you go back to the first quarter, how this game started, it took a couple of minutes before anyone was able to score for both teams.
Yes, a lot of there will always be struggles in every game, but you definitely want to focus more on making stops and try to force the other team into turnovers, because you want to get those fast break points to go. You want to get those putbacks to go. You want to get those higher percentage shots. Like I said, you want to see Enciso light it up. Yes, that's something that Blackwater would hope for. But if things get tougher for Enciso, because Alaska would definitely make that adjustment in the second half, you would definitely want other players or other facets of their game to come into play, like getting those easy baskets and getting all those putbacks in.
Rather at the line. First one is good. Now has 4 points under his name with a couple of rebounds there.
Butrater, a product of De La Salle Green Archers, been a very athletic big man who is one of those mainstays of the Alaska Ace, especially when he transferred here from Blackwater also.
That's right, and he was also impressive in a short stint with Gilas Pilipinas when he played for Marinerong Filipino in the PBA D-League, taking his talent to the PBA. 6 on the shot clock, and Ciso. He will be the focal point of the defense of Alaska. Nabong, finding the littlest of space, couldn't get it. Hanmisi on the run to Tratter. Up in the air, able to finish through the foul.
So that's what I'm saying about, I was looking at Kelly Nabong after he was stuffed under the basket with 2 players on him. he was on the half court only, and you see the guy who's supposed to defend streaking down on that fast break. So because he was really complaining on the ref, so that's really what you don't want to really see, most especially from your big guy, because you definitely need him back on defense.
Rather completes the three-point play, and he's the reason why Alaska has been able to build a 6-point advantage here. In season 19 in the first half, has yet to score here in the second. See the quick double whenever the ball is within Cecil. Maga turned, and the defense was not there anymore.
Yes, I mean, they would always try to force Enciso into doing other things, to be a facilitator rather than to score, because you don't really want the ball on Enciso, because at this point he's really been scoring well.
Manal to Di Gregorio. MDG, it doesn't go for him. Enciso thought about it. Magat was not ready for that pass. Simon. Marion Magat from deep. Too strong. Lots of pushes underneath, and that will stay with Blackwater. It's Banal who will get called for the foul. Seramir said to check in now. Was not really able to make the impact we're used to seeing from him back in the first half, but hey, this is a new team, a baptism of fire for him. And, you know, like you said earlier, Coach Eric, once he warms up and he gets those shots to fall in, that's a scary sight for any team going up against Baser.
Definitely. We saw what Baser can do with the Meralco balls, and definitely, you know, Blackwater wants to see the same Baseramer in Meralco doing it in their team, in the ball with the Bossings.
Taha with a beautiful drop pass to Banal. That's a Mapua connection. They were teammates back in college, back in 2011. 5 on the shot clock. And Ciso. Takiwag wide open, and he gets it to go.
It's great ball movement there on the part of Blackwater. That's, I believe, the second shot of Dakiwag, you know, shooting from the three.
That's great presence of mind from Magat, you know, understanding that he can still make that last extra pass before shot clock expired.
That's what you need them to do. You want to see all these guys try to get everybody involved.
Oh wow, Taha. Look at that move, Coach Eric. Great footwork right there.
Oh, he's really built like a tank. You see, he would definitely overpower Magat. Magat definitely will have a difficult time against, you know, the bigger Yusuf Taha, because of the sheer size of those shoulders. That's why that's also the reason why Magat didn't really want to use his chest to really block the path of Yusuf Taha going to the basket.
When Taha arrived in the Philippines, he had to shift his game up because he was required to play as a big. At 6'8", when he was playing in Dallas, Texas before in college, well, before he played college in Mapua, he was actually a small forward he shared. So, you know, now he's a legitimate big here in the Philippines.
Yes, you will definitely adjust your style of play, most especially coming from the U.S. A lot of these guys are 6'8". They're only like a small forward, or even can even play like a two guard. But here, because of the role that they're making the players play, like Yusuf Taha, he definitely has to play that post position.
Takiwag finding a way to get that ball through the hoop. Blackwater down by 4. Banal looking for options. Taha. Di Gregorio from the corner. Mike Di Gregorio. That ball cleans the rim up before falling down.
Yusuf Taha being a catalyst in that play, being able to facilitate a wide open teammate.
And he has made such a big impact here in the third quarter. And Ciso misses his first attempt here in the third. Hanmisi will stop and pop, and that is way short. Ball will go back to Blackwater.
It's either the ball is slippery or opening day jitters.
Possibly both. Not for Di
Oh,
Gregorio.
definitely not.
He hit one from the other corner earlier. And that is really his spot, Coach Eric.
Oh, he loves to shoot those corner threes, and he's definitely one of those guys who can light it up.
Di
Of course.
Gregorio also, of course, played for Blackwater earlier.
Yes, definitely. And he was really known. The reason why teams are looking at De Gregorio is because of what Blackwater gave him as a player, those minutes that gave him that confidence.
How about the impact of both Yusef Taha and Abu Crater here in the third?
That's a good combination there by Coach Jeffrey Carriazo. The bigs are taking advantage of the interior defense of the Blackwater Bossings. You get a lot of athleticism with the boot Trotter, although he misses that free throw.
You know, all of the points of Alaska here in the third quarter, Coach Eric, have been scored or assisted on by Tratter and Taha. So they really have led this charge, and they're the reason why Alaska has been able to go up by 9 points, 55 to 46. 6 and 15 left in the third. We have a timeout. And this is the 2021 Honda PBA Philippine Cup, brought to you by Honda, the official motorcycle of the PBA.
But after playing in other leagues, lalo na sa PBA D-League, kung saan nakapag-finals MPT siya for go for gold noong 2019, feeling niya ready na siya, PBA ready. Kaya naman nung nag-DM si Coach Jeff Carriazo via Instagram asking him if he wanted to work out with the team, automatic yes for Gab. Lalo na daw na fan siya ng Alaska growing up, and also considering na his dad, Joel Banal, used to coach for Alaska as well. Gentlemen.
Well, you know, thank you, Apple, for that, by the way. Gab shared stories already about, you know, just going to his dad's practice and seeing what it is. And he remembers in particular seeing his dad win a PBA championship. And that is one of the things that truly inspired him to, you know, seek greatness as well and blaze his own path, his own career here in the PBA.
You know, it's really nice to see that another Banal has really performed well here in the league. Let's talk about, of course, Coach Joel Banal, who's been a player in the PBA and a winning coach at the same time. So now you have the next generation. The kids are also really showing their wares here in the league, and that family is definitely. There's a lot of talent in that family when you talk about basketball and even sportscasting as well.
Oh, that's right. Gab's brother Juan Banal is part of our team. You probably hear him a lot in the games and coverages, but you know, it's just Alaska finding its rhythm here in the third quarter. They have built an 11-point lead.
You know what, Jat? You really put in a good point there about those two bigs of Alaska, Taha and Tratter. They're the ones who lead or was the one instrumental in bringing Alaska this 11-point lead because of their presence, because of their team play.
What is it exactly, Coach, that they brought into this second half that sparked Alaska's run?
Well, you put in a very good point there. That assist that they did, they got everybody involved, so it kind of spread out that defense of Blackwater. And now you see a lot of aggressiveness in these two guys attacking the paint. So it's giving Alaska an interior presence that is going to force Coach Nash Rosella into adjustment. You have a Danny I there who's an PBA MVP and a great big man, teaching and trying to condition the minds of Tratter and Yusef Taha on how to be great operators in the paint.
I mean, you ask six-time MVP Junmar Fajardo, and he'll probably tell you a lot of the wisdom that he got when he first stepped into the PBA was from the demolition man, Daniel Defonso. So he's definitely a great mentor to have if you're Abu Tratter or Yusef Taha.
I mean, it's not only just seeing, just scoring in the paint, and of course we see Trotter score in the paint, or even Taha scoring in the paint, but it's also the vision of what you see on the floor as a big man. When the ball is on the post, you see the floor outside, and you see who's definitely going to be involved. And Danny I is definitely a great passer in getting all those little guys to score as well.
Di Gregorio, free throw line chunker, that's good. And now everything seems to be running so smoothly for the Aces.
So this is what I was telling you about, Jad, in the beginning. Yes, you see Simon and Ciso lighting it up. But now I really haven't seen Ciso get that ball on an open shot because they're Alaska's clamping down on defense on him. The problem is no other Blackwater player is scoring the way Simon and Ciso was scoring in the first half.
And that truly has become the question with Simon and Ciso cooling down a bit, also because of the defense of Alaska focusing on him. Where will the points now come for Blackwater?
Well, that's going to be a big problem, especially that their set offense is, coming from Kelly Nabo from the outside. I mean, Kelly can score, take that jumper, but if you force Kelly into putting that ball on the floor, then their offense becomes more predictable because Kelly is dipping his head instead of seeing who's open on the floor.
So this is the next best scorer for them in this game, Ed Akiwag. However, he missed. There's no lack of scoring abilities in the players of Blackwater, but they're just not having the best afternoons today. Akiwag is 4 for 12. Amer is 2 for 10. These are guys you can expect to put up some buckets.
I see Gabanal contributing because you have to credit again Abu Tratter for keeping the ball alive. You have Brondial there. So this is where Alaska's going to have that advantage. You have those players who work hard on the defensive or the offensive glass. You have Herndon on the guard who's on the bench. You have Tratter. You have good size there, and those players are definitely hungry going for that extra possessions on the floor.
Banal now has 5 points, also has 2 rebounds and 3 assists. And he played well enough in the first half to earn a starting nod in the third quarter.
It's really all about contribution. Alaska started out slow. They didn't really get that offense to go, but there were some, shades of brilliance when they would move the ball around. Now it's the second half. Coach Jeffrey Carriazo making some adjustments on defense, most especially on Simon and Ciso. And then now Blackwater is the one in deep trouble, down by 17.
That's actually now 8 points for Banal. 3.5 to go in the third quarter. Bolomia attacking, and over 2 defenders, Brondial and Tratter could not get to that shot.
Well, that's definitely what Blackwater would need. You see a lot of ball movement, and now players are going to the basket.
Some sparring for Blackwater. Oh, look at that. Beautiful pass for Tratter. What a play. You thought he had nowhere to go, but he made the right play to feed Brondial.
Well, we're looking for Nabong. He's still on the backcourt because he fell all the way out of bounds.
And then Ciso just trying to bring some life back to Blackwater. He was their main source back in the first half.
Well, it's good that he is also looking for his opportunity to score. But then you cannot. The defense of Blackwater is the problem right now, and how to contain those big men of Alaska.
He had 19 points in the first half, but those are his first 2 here in the third quarter, and it came with only 3 minutes remaining, and Ciso will have to make up for a lot of ground. the games live on PBA Rush via Signal Play, free until August 15th. Games also available on demand for free. Register on signalplay.com and download the app. Thank you for tuning in. You guys are watching the 2021 Honda PBA Philippine Cup. John Sulit alongside Coach Eric Reyes with Apple David doing courtside duties for this game. Alaska Aces versus the Blackwater bossing the very first game of the conference and of the season, being played at the Inares Arena in Pasig City. And Coach Eric, we are just so happy the PBA is back.
It definitely feels good, being back here and trying to cover and see all these players, familiar faces once again, most especially the game that we have on hand when we have Simon and Ciso exploding in the first half. And now, although they're down, he's trying to light this court up again and bring his team back.
Adamos back on the court, but misses on the jumper. Herndon able to recover, and Adamos mopping up the miss.
It started with Taha and Abutrater. Now it's Herndon's turn, and Adamos, Brondial. All these guys are definitely wreaking havoc into the front line on the defensive rebounds of Blackwater. It's just way too many, second chance points here for Alaska, and that's going to be a big problem down the stretch because these are high percentage shots.
That has always been the calling card of Adamos. He's so active on the floor for Perpetual. He was a main source of points, but you'll also be able to get him to do a lot of things on the defensive end.
But the nice thing about Adamos is that he's contributing, but you also have other players just there tapping the ball, keeping the ball alive. You have Herndon, you have all these guys, just keeping the ball active and making sure that maybe one of their teammates would get a chance to clear up that shot.
Adamo was very disappointed and frustrated over that call, which he felt shouldn't have been whistled. It was called for an offensive foul, so had something to say to the referee. Was given a warning, and eventually Coach Nash Racela just saying, okay, maybe it's time to replace you for a bit. Olomia couldn't get it past Adamos. A timeout requested by Coach Jeffrey Carriazo as their offense was stalled by the quick recovery of Blackwater, as well as this one with Brondial just falling behind. Not a good sign here for the Aces. He's holding on to his knee. We're hoping that it's nothing too serious for Rodney Brondial.
And he's also playing well and making a contribution for his team. That's why it's really sad to see one player down here at the start of this season.
We weren't able to catch what happened when it did live, but okay, so it looked like when he fell down, he stepped on someone's foot, but it wasn't actually the foot that he was clutching on.
It was his knee.
Yeah, it was his knee. Looks like he's gonna be held up. Unable to put weight on that right leg. But at this point, it's just good to see that he is able to get up. We're gonna be hoping for the best for Rodney Brondial.
It's really more in the ankle, John.
Oh, it could be, yeah, because again, what we saw on the replay, Coach Eric, is that he stepped on his right foot, stepped on someone upon landing when he tried to get that rebound. We'll definitely try to get an update later on, and we'll let you guys know. In the meantime, Alaska up by 17 points over Blackwater, and it was only here in the third quarter that they did that, literally, because entering the third quarter, we were tied, Coach Eric, 39 apiece, but here in this period, it's been 30-13 in favor of the Aces.
Well, basketball is like that. It's a game of momentum. So it's Alaska's turn to have that nice hot streak in the third quarter. But it's all about hard work on what they did. Blackwater, on the other hand, especially with Enciso, was all about great shooting in the first half.
Di Gregorio also got a lot of his shots to fall here in the third. Teng still looking for his. Enciso bothered by Herndon. You see those guys competing so hard against each other, Robbie Herndon and Simon Enciso. But when it comes to video games, to Call of Duty Warzone, they are usually teammates.
Well, that's a problem when they play a lot of video games, especially with CODs. You
Yeah.
definitely become like warriors too on the court. It rubs off your intensity playing
That's right.
Call of Duty.
There is a foul whistle there to the dismay of the entire Alaska Aces. Colombia just fearlessly attacking. And I guess if you're struggling, Coach Eric, getting those outside shots to fall in, that's exactly what you try to do. You just attack the defense, maybe try to get yourself at the free throw line.
That's how Alaska led in the third quarter. They were aggressive in attacking the paint, and they were going to the line or they were getting offensive rebounds. That's the same thing that Tolomia has in mind. He tried to go drive inside, try to draw some fouls. You can see him that he had that intention of drawing the foul of Adamos because he spread out his arms and tried to force the contact.
Colombia makes both free throws. He inches Blackwater closer, however, there's still a lot of catching up to do for the Bossing. Under a minute to go in the third quarter. Teng has it. Colombia trying to stay in front of him. Teng, the spin, the kick out. Adamos, he has that range. Not this time though. Magat with the board. 69-54, 15-point advantage for Alaska. Baser to Magat, another foul is whistled. And there was a little extra something there from Magat Taha.
Well, they were going at it even in the start of the third. I mean, Taha and Magat were banging bodies underneath, most especially on the low post.
Magat misses on the first one. Remember before, Magat would barely be able to step onto the court and then slowly try to get better on his own, brought that to practice, eventually translated into game, getting more minutes, until he saw himself really contributing in NLEX games and then with Alaska.
Well, physically, he is gifted with long arms, he's tall, he's also a good leaping ability. So those are the things that will really help him in his game.
Blackwater trying to get as close as they can before the end of the third quarter. The timeout is requested here. And Coach Eric, talk about that run by Alaska in the third quarter and how it just broke this game open.
It's really all about those bigs really making a presence. Stratter and Taha, they were very aggressive attacking the paint. The problem with Blackwater is they just really couldn't contain the aggressiveness of those two players. I mean, they were able to get those assist passes, easy baskets, and the thing is, they were not really able. Blackwater was not able to block them out and prevent them from getting second chance points.
With Taha, whatever team he played for in the PBA, the same thing that he brought with each of them is energy. He just deploy him to the court and he will definitely bump up the team with hustle plays and just with everything he does. And I guess there was a time that coaches would have wanted him to be more under control. I feel like that's what we're seeing here, Coach Eric.
Yes, I mean, Coach Jeff was able, of course, Danny I is also there to help out. And those are the guys who would be able, if you see, with these players, as long as you can motivate them to perform at their abilities, then they would become really instrumental in helping your team win.
Again, those two, Tratter and Taha, largely responsible for the 14-point lead of Alaska. That guy, Adamos, joining the bigs of the Aces as a rookie this year, has also made his contributions. Teng has struggled here in this game, but a lot of his teammates making up for him, and JV Kasha one of them.
As you can imagine, JV is not even lighting it up yet, but he's getting his points, getting some points in, and more importantly, is really making those assists.
Simon Enciso was able to get that, but it looked like he was limping back after making that one-hander. Denison and Teng get tangled up. Denison has always been a pesky defender, and he's someone who gets under the skin of
Many
the guy
players.
he's tasked to defend. Now, I'm sure the referees are gonna review what exactly happened there.
I've seen him do that in college too.
But that's really the role that's
Yeah.
expected of him.
Ron is a tough player. He really tries to get into your nerves. And he's also a good player at that. He can also score, but you know, there's a lot of side work coming into play.
You know, honestly, with that angle, I don't know who's holding on to who.
Well, there was a forearm on Teng's chest, but you see a lot of, and then Teng put it under the elbow of Denison.
They're also taking a look at that shot from Adamos, but you know, even if that doesn't count, there's been a lot of buckets for Alaska. Gab Banal, not a rookie, but an addition to Alaska, and he has been key. Look at his contribution so far.
Yes, you see a lot of these times that he's been doing it he's all over the court. He will get pass off an assist, he would score off putbacks.
12 more minutes remain. We will enter those with Alaska up by 14, 71 to 57.
Not sure. The team position is looking at a possibility of a hyperextended right knee, but they have to make further assessment. But it's safe to say na hindi muna siya makakabalik sa larong ito. Gentlemen.
Thanks so much, Apple. So it was the knee, the right knee of Rodney Brondial. They're looking at a possible hyperextension again. Prayers go out to Rodney Brondial, hoping he'll be able to recover quickly. I know for sure he was looking forward to getting to play again. I don't know how much that must have hurt. You encounter something like that, an injury in your first game.
Alaska really scoring heavily in that third quarter, 32 big points. That does really speak well of the defense of the Blackwater Elite or the Blackwater Bossings because of what happened in the third quarter. They have to make up for that because they're down by 12.
Here's Alaska now trying to build on their lead after Colombia was able to get 2 points. Teng, floater, still no go. Herndon was rejected by Desiderio. Casio, back out to Adamos. And Ben Adamos, that's the range we were talking about.
That's a big shot there. I mean, Blackwater was about to make a stop on that Alaska setup. And yet Adamos, he was still able to hit that shot from the 3.
Magat, strong move underneath.
Blackwater going small now. I mean, their biggest player there is Magat. They're even making KG play that 4 position. They're trying to speed up this game.
Taha, inside pass to Adamos. Had to dribble out. They reset their offense. Not a lot of time left. Taha puts it up. Teng was asking for it. Here comes Blackwater, and Amer continues to struggle. Pasho looking for teammates. Teng really looking for his offense. He's only 7 points and 3 out of 7 from the field.
Blackwater's problem right now is they're going small, and Alaska sees that. Maybe on the fast break, it will be Blackwater's game on the open court. But if you have a big team, Teng would love to go inside. Taha is still there. Adamus is also playing a great game. So that will be a problem for Blackwater, how they can contain. And then you see Kalinabang come back. And he's definitely needed. His presence is needed in the 5 position for Blackwater.
Now remember, in previous seasons, Kelly Nabong would be a guy who could score in the 20s. 2010 guy sometimes even, but in this game has been held to just 1 point. 0 for 6 from the field. He was the first guy who scored in the game, but not been able to get any since.
But the difference with Kelly's game is he can score from the 3. He took a couple of 3-point shots here, but because his previous team allowed him to take the 3 since they have another big guy who can really draw that double team. So it's very important now. If Kelly wants to score more, he has to be in a comfortable position. Maybe he can power himself up on the post, try to get better position. But shooting that 3 at this, maybe with this 5 on the court, it might even be more difficult for Kelly Nabong to hit that 3 because it's definitely needed in the slot.
Tolomia now at the free throw line. Even from there, not finding his luck. Mike Tolomia, 6 points in this game, 2 for 7 from the field. He gets the second one to fall in. No Simon and Ciso on the floor so far for Blackwater here in the fourth, but they are extending their defense to the backcourt, trying to give Alaska a different look. Teng has it against Tolomia. 10 on the shot clock. The curl from Herndon, he had to pass it back to Teng. Giron making his move now, drops Tolomia. Couldn't get the shot. You see there Adamos and Nabong getting tangled up underneath. Nabong wanted that basketball, got a bit frustrated that he didn't get it. Tolomia puts it up, and he gets the 3 to fall.
That's a good shot there by Tolomia, but still, it will be very difficult if there's no big guy on the post for Blackwater. I mean, they're all spread out, and the only shot that they can take is an outside shot.
Adamos again will try from deep. That one too strong. Nabong battling hard to the board. It's loose, picked up by Desidero. Guys on the floor. Tolomia is trying to ignite the offense right now for Blackwater. And he draws a foul. And he fell to the ground, Coach Eric. He was ready to get up, but then Amer said, go ahead, lay down for a bit, take your rest. That is Baser stepping into the leadership role with Blackwater immediately.
That's a very good point there. They needed a leader, and that definitely will come from Baser. Even if he's not really having a good game or a good night, there are other players who can, that you just have to motivate and share your experience, just like Mike Tolomia.
Tolomia has scored the last few points of Blackwater, and he is the reason why they are within single digits once again. Whoever he missed that last free throw. That's 8 of the 10 points of Blackwater in this quarter, scored by Tolomia. Hanisi a bit out of control. Tratter was stopped by Taha again. His activity has been key.
So again, those offensive rebounds, those are definitely key for Alaska. It's keeping them, it's giving them enough breathing space for this Blackwater team that's trying to mount a rally at this stage.
Let's remember that Tolomia played for Coach Nash Racela back in college with FEU. And you can sense that familiarity with each other.
Oh, you also have Ron Dennison who played for Coach Nash.
That's something you see in the PBA, right, Coach? I mean, coaches just reuniting with their collegiate players who normally they would have played maybe 4 or 5 years with them. So they're very familiar with what the coach is trying to do on with the team.
It's like a teenager or maybe a young kid growing up, you know, with your dad. And eventually, when your dad is coaching, just like you know back in the day, you know how these guys develop their game and the kind of mindset and philosophy that these guys learn. So it's a lot easier for you to train them and for them to adjust to your system.
Interesting move here for Blackwater, now dropping into a 2-3 zone.
And notice another offensive rebounds again.
Oh, Magat coming out of nowhere to block Taha. Tolomia stopping on a dime. Mike Tolomia has taken over here in the fourth.
Oh, they needed someone to really push that ball and get everyone involved and get this team pumped up. And now they're only down by 6.
And that's a run solely by Tolomia, but it started with this. Magat. Look at that. Taha got past Nabong. Magat says, not against me. And then Tolomia stopping, Casio speeding. Mike gets the 2 points. Just like that. Blackwater now breathing under the neck of Alaska.
They just needed someone to step in and help out Simon and Season. Mike Magat, or rather Mike Tolomia, is really one of those guys helping Blackwater get back in this game.
You guys are tuned in to the 2021 Honda PBA Philippine Cup, brought to you by Honda, the official motorcycle of the PBA. Still 8 minutes remaining here. Now, Alaska's lead earlier, it grew to a high of 17 points. That was just in the third quarter. But again, thanks to that man, Mike Tolomia, who now has 15 points. 11 of those in this quarter. He has scored 11 of the 13 points of Blackwater here in the fourth. And he has brought the Bossings back here in this game.
Well, one team would always make a run. That's what happened to Alaska in the third. And here in the fourth, it's Blackwater's turn. And this game is always... Basketball is a game of runs. And you definitely just need to know what to do when one team is making a run on you.
Let's see how Alaska will counter here. Handisi Pasio. De Gregorio open. De Gregorio silences Blackwater.
Well, that ball movement is helping Alaska get those open shots.
9-point lead once again. This time, it was Magat who misses. Tolomia tried to set him up, and Magat slow to get back on D. They leave De Gregorio open again. He misses. Chance again for Blackwater. Tolomia is asking for it. Why not? Asking for a screen. Mike going to Baser. Baser Amer. Still not getting his shots to fall down.
He's struggling right now. Baser just needs to take more shots.
He definitely has been missed by his team. Casio from the corner, the other side. Always a ticking time bomb. JV Casio with a three-pointer that really hurts for Blackwater.
Well, that's the hard part about this Alaska team. I mean, they have a lot of these players who are not really scoring as much. But when you're giving them an open shot like that, especially with JV, they can definitely put in that basket.
in the fourth quarter of this game between the Alaska Aces and the Blackwater Bossing. Alaska in the third quarter led by 17 points, but then Blackwater, thanks to Mike Tolomia, caught up here in the fourth, but Alaska trying to get away again. Watch the games live on PBA Rush via Signal Play, free until August 15. Games also available on demand for free. Register on signalplay.com and download the app. Baseramer, in his debut for the Blackwater Bossing, I'm pretty sure that Baser would have wanted to make more impact here in this game, but there's still time left and he is still on the court, and you understand Coach Nash Acela why he still is leaving Baser there.
Well, he's a veteran there. That's a good thing of Kelly Nabong trying to score also from that low post. Nice face-up jumper. You know, whatever Coach Nash will do with Baser, even if he's not scoring, he's still a leader, and he definitely knows what to do, most especially down the stretch.
But the answer from Yusef Taho has been marvelous for Alaska in this game. Nabong will try again. He has found a rhythm here in the fourth. Back-to-back hits for Kelly.
It's definitely a big gamble to have Nabong hit that or shoot that three because he's the five guy. There's no other big man down there. But then, if he can just consistently make that, he will definitely help his team.
Tolomia not hitting that three-pointer. That would have been big for Blackwater. Ahanmisi sidestepping. There's a foul whistled. And that's going to mean 2 free throws for Maverick Ahanmisi.
Maverick couldn't really get his game going also. I mean, he had his opportunities. But then, you know, the presence of Ahanmisi, most especially on defense, is big because of his size as a guard.
I want to get your thoughts on a foul like that. Sure, he tripped on Marian Magat, but I can't really say it's Magat's fault because he just had his foot there.
Yes.
It was just that Maverick decided to go to a sidestep or a euro, and he clipped the foot of Magat. What do you think, Coach?
Yeah, I felt that, you know, it can be a let go also because there was no contact on the part of Magat. He was moving away. So it definitely has some, you know, it really depends
could
on
be
the
a debate.
angle. Yeah, it could be it's an arguable, as they say, it's an arguable call.
But what we can't argue on is how big Tratter has been for Alaska here in the second half. Along with Taha, we've been saying the names of those two because they have fueled the initial run of the Aces. And Enciso has definitely cooled down. 19 in the first half. Simon only 4 in the second.
He's getting less touches and less looks also on the floor because Alaska has marked him already.
Yeah, credit that to the defensive adjustment of the Aces. 11-point lead for Alaska. Di Gregorio leaving it for Bronyal. So, Rodney Bronyal back in the game. That is a good sign for Alaska. Went down earlier with what Apple reported was suspected to be a hyperextended knee, but hey, he's back, and you know Rodney Bronyal is a fighter as well.
Well, he's got his fair share of injuries back in the day, most especially his knees. And it's really nice to note that he did not, or he is still well, and he's able to get back on the court.
Dakiwag. Offensive foul on Ed.
Well, this guy, De Gregorio, is good in drawing that foul. He knows how to position himself. And let's take a look at it again.
You're hearing in the background, still moving.
He's got a good point also. He was still
very
moving.
good point. By no means were De Gregorio's feet planted when that collision happened.
See, but the thing is, it always will depend on the angle of the referees calling that or making that call.
And it's easier for us to see it in slow-mo, but when the action is on...
It's not easy.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
I would encourage those who are, you know, commenting about that call to try refereeing yourself because it's not easy to really be that way. But again, These are you just have to be at the right place at the right time to make the call. And because of the game, because of the speed of the game, sometimes you will definitely miss out on some.
Nabong misses on the 3. Now, if Blackwater wants to have a chance at getting this win, they might have to start their rally now. Down by 11 with under 4 to go. Manal has it against the Kiwag. Tratter comes up to get it. Handoff to Di Gregorio. Mike, oh! Off balance, off 1 foot, still getting it to fall down.
So the beauty about that shot is he didn't hit the defender straight. He didn't hit a mare straight in his chest. He was just on the side. That's why there was no offensive foul call.
13-point lead now for Alaska. Blackwater will talk things over. Fourth quarter action here in the very first game of the 2021 Honda PBA Philippine Cup, brought to you by Honda, the official motorcycle of the PBA. You got Alaska leading by 13. Now we will have 3 straight game days. Tomorrow you'll have the Tropang Giga, the TNT Tropang Giga, go up against the Terra Firma Jeep at 2 p.m. and then at 4:35, Magnolia Pambansang Manok Hot Shots against the Phoenix Super LPG Fuel Masters, who had a great run in the PBA bubble. And they also had personal changes, coach. No more Calvin Abueva, but they get Vic Manuel.
Wow, that's definitely going to help them a lot.
And then they're going to be facing Calvin Abueva, who's now with Magnolia. So that's a very interesting game, I would say.
Well, usually when you have trades like that, the very first game is what you really want to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to see the players or the coaches or whoever release that bad blood, coming off, if you have players or individuals coming from your respective teams.
Box out there. Nabong fell down. Transition opportunity for Alaska, but then they'll say, let's step on the brakes and set things up. 3:20 to go. Di Gregorio right in front of Canaleta. Money on the 3.
That's a problem there. Alaska was able to clamp down on defense in this game, in the second half. Blackwater, no. Because that's the time when Alaska really made the run, when Blackwater was not able to get those defensive rebounds or clear those or prevent those second chance points. And then now you see that Alaska's just getting all those scorers involved in the game.
It was just different guys blowing up at different points of the game. In the first half, it was Simon and Ciso. Third quarter, Yusef Taha and Abu Tratter.
Again.
Taha still continues to say, I'm not done yet. But in the fourth quarter, it felt like it was a lot of Mike Di Gregorio, coach.
Yes, the Gregorio's quarter is the fourth. You have the 2 bigs of Alaska contributing in the third. So a lot of these guys, it's really a total team effort. But that third quarter was pivotal for me, just because of those 2 big guys just lording it over in the paint.
Taha has 14 points and 7 rebounds and 3 assists to his contributions in his return to the PBA, his debut with the Alaska Aces. Di Gregorio, however, 18 points, 4 out of 7 from deep. Both of those guys have come from the bench.
Yes, yeah, that's key, definitely.
55 bench points for... Make that 58, says Mike Di Gregorio. 21 points for him, 5 3-pointers. He says, you're calling my stats too early. I have more to give in this game. Oh, that's a
2-point shot, yeah. But still, he made that shot that gives them enough breathing.
Yep, 20 points, that is, for Mike Di Gregorio. And the lead continues to grow for Alaska. 2021 PBA Philippine Cup brought to you by Honda, the official motorcycle of the PBA. And Mike Di Gregorio has taken over this game here in the fourth. And he did it, Coach Eric, at a time when Blackwater was trying to get back. They were able to cut it down to single digits. And then this guy happened.
They were only down like by 6 points. You know, after Mike Tolome hit that runner or went for those layups. But then, you know, Mike De Gregorio really started hitting his shot. He was getting free. His teammates were looking for him. And he was hitting every single open shot that he had.
Mike De Gregorio is another guy who just waited for his opportunity in the PBA. When he got it, never looked back, you know, never shied away from it. Look at him do damage for Alaska.
I mean, he's got great work ethic because I've seen Mike, you know, after team practices before with Blackwater, he would always extend and shoot. And then in the afternoon, he would always come back and shoot again on the court aside from lifting weights. So this guy is really very disciplined. And that's the reason why he continuously makes waves and performs at a very high level because of his work ethic.
And now another rookie is able to make his debut for Blackwater. That's Andre Paras. Checking in, Richard Escoto will also enter along with him. Peramero will take a seat. Not the best of afternoons for Amer. He will exit the game with 4 points, 2 out of 12 shooting, including 0 for 5 from 3-point range. That's another rookie, Raymark Acuno. Visibly frustration, Kelly Nabo. He wasn't able to get a field goal until the fourth quarter.
Well, he was defended very well, and he wasn't really getting the same shots. Oh, Alaska still.
And that's another rookie. And he immediately shows what he can do. RK Ilagan was a scorer for San Sebastian. Those are the things he did. Even in the PBA D-League. We're pretty much just waiting for the final score here. Your thoughts on the debuts of these two teams in the 2021 season?
Well, I felt Alaska started out, flat. You know, they just couldn't get their game going. They were still struggling for their shots. The good thing is they have great players who just worked hard on trying to keep the ball active and get extra possessions. And that's also the reason why they won this game, because in the third quarter, of course, we cannot forget the performance of Simon Enciso for Blackwater in the first half. I mean, he definitely kept that team ahead. But then Alaska's presence, their hard work, just keep the game close in the third quarter, that was pivotal for me because they just lorded it over in the shaded area. And they saw the weakness of the Blackwater Bossings, that they cannot play defense in the paint and get those offensive or defensive rebounds.
Coach Eric, how about RK Ilagan, the rookie? Inserted in the last 2 minutes and barely 30 seconds into his appearance has already made 2 3-pointers. A lot of people are looking forward to what that guy can do in the PBA. Andre Paras will also try to show his range. Unsuccessful that time. And this Alaska lead just really ballooned in the second half. They have outscored Blackwater so far. We're not even done yet, but they have outscored Blackwater by 24 points, 26 points in the second half as RK Ilagan.
We were just talking about him a while ago.
Yeah, and if there's one thing that guy can do, it's score. You'll be deceived by his height. Not the tallest guy out there, but he can definitely score. 8 points in less than 2 minutes. Not bad at all. But it was this guy, Mike Di Gregorio, who helped Alaska take this 103-77 win over Blackwater in their very first game of the Philippine Cup.
Well, Alaska really started out this game or this season on a high note. I like the way Alaska finished this game, most especially in the second half, because it really shows their true firepower. most especially those players who really kept this team up while Blackwater had an uprising or started this game very well.
Alaska takes this win 103-77. We'll be right back to break this game down for you.
Yes, I am with our best player of the game, Mike De Gregorio, who scored 20 points, had 5 rebounds with 2 assists. Mike, it was a close ball game, a tight ball game at the half, and then you guys had a 32-18 blast in the third. What was it about the halftime huddle that allowed you guys to turn on the switch?
Well, we talked about it in the break about sharing the ball, making sure that everybody touches it. You know, we worked on it for 2 months while we were practicing in Batangas about everybody making sure that we share the ball, make sure we execute, and just making sure that we get in the paint and contribute for everybody.
There were a couple of times that your team had multiple shots at the basket. Talk about the resiliency and the energy that this current team has.
We're a young group, you know. We're a hungry group. We got a lot of competitive guys on our team. So we didn't want to let this first game pass. We didn't want the opportunity to pass us by. So, you know, like I said, we got young guys, we got a lot of energy, and we got a lot to prove.
Mike, it's been a while. I'm sure you have some shout-outs.
Yeah, for sure. Number one, I want to shout out to all the Alaska Aces fans. Thank you guys so much for the support. I want to shout out all my family back home in Chicago, all the family in Vallejo, my family out here in the Philippines, my girlfriend, Jessica, I know you're watching. And just continue to support the PBA. For all the PBA fans, it's been a long time since we had a conference. So continue to watch and support. And Alaska, hopefully we bring you number 15.
Thank you very much, Mike. Congratulations. I now turn you over to the press room.
Hello guys, we're here with Alaska Aces head coach Jeff Carriazo. Coach, your thoughts about the game?
First of all, it was, you know, to be honest with you, I couldn't sleep last night because honestly, the uncertainty of how we were going to look tonight. It's hard to kind of gauge your team, and I think all the coaches feel this way, where you don't have an opportunity to play against anyone else except yourself, no? So minsan naman, alam niyo na nakakasawa to play each other, no? So you don't know how good or how bad you are. So my challenge to the guys was really just to share the ball on offense and to defend the best way we can. So luckily tonight, you know, Mike stepped up, and a lot of the guys, you know, they really followed the simple game plan that we had. So we're happy for this first step.
Guys, any questions?
I think, I can't hear Noli. I think Noli is talking. I think. Sir Noli Cortez. Wala pa. Hindi ka namin marinig, Nolly. Sorry.
Let's take a look at the action that happened here in the very first game of the 2021 Honda PBA Philippine Cup. It was a slow start, Coach Eric, for both teams.
Yes, I would say, and true enough, that's what Coach Jeffrey Carriazo was saying, that he couldn't really sleep because of the preparation, the struggles that they had in coming up or preparing for the tournament. And it's clearly seen with the Alaska Aces the way they started the game. But he made a good point on just sharing that basketball, because the most important thing for every season is just to get everybody involved, to get everyone to have that feel of the ball again after a long time.
Of course, you're seeing the highlights and you're seeing a lot of buckets, but then you didn't see that in the first 2 minutes of this game, nobody could make a basket. Neither team had a field goal, but then Simon and Ciso started going to work. Alaska was relying on team basketball. For Blackwater, it was the Simon and Ciso takeover. He had 19 points in the first half alone.
Well, the key is, what Alaska did is they just followed the game plan strictly by just sharing that basketball. And we've seen it. I mean, we both agreed that the game was really slow. At times, they were both flat coming, into the game. But then, that's really understandable with the way things are going for them. But once everyone started to touch that basketball, which is Alaska did very well. To me, this a lot of good things happened. Those extra touches, extra possessions gave Alaska this big third quarter lead, and they were able to score 32 points in the third quarter alone, which to me is a turning point, and that's the reason why Alaska, got Mike Di Gregorio to score 21 points in the game, because everyone just simply touched that basketball.
It was in the third quarter when Abu Tratter and Yusef Taha just led the charge, waking up their Alaska team. In the fourth quarter, we'll see a lot of contributions from a lot of other guys from the Aces. But then there was a stretch that Mike Tolomia just woke up, went on a 9-0 run all by himself. And it was also when this guy countered Mike Di Gregorio.
Yes, that was definitely true in Tolomia's presence. He single-handedly helped his team get back in the game, and I believe that was down. They were only down 6 after that explosion of Alaska in the third. But then, when that Alaska team already had so much possession, so much confidence, and that's the reason why we had this blowout at the end of the game.
And Alaska wins by 26 big points in their first game of the season. Blackwater taking the bad end of that beating. We have more games coming up. It's Rain or Shine versus NLEX up next. Continue to watch all the games right here on PBA Rush. Thank you for joining us. For my partner, Coach Eric Reyes, for everyone behind this coverage, this is Judd Sulit. More games coming up here on PBA Rush.